Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, see kind of what's going on here, of course, on a Saturday. Now, weekends are usually pretty slow, but we'll go ahead and see kind of what might happen next and just make sure we're in good shape here to keep your positions open, or inverse perhaps applies as well. So if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade. I hope you can learn something today. I've been trading for over 15 years. I created this community for a reason, to help people become better traders. So I hope you can learn something here, of course. And obviously, if you want to become a better trader and learn from my trading academy, as well as the signals that I send to help you structure your trades effectively, and an amazing community at your back, CryptoCache.tech is the website. Check that out in your own time. I can assure you, you'll find great benefit. All right, so take a look here at Bitcoin. First things first is looking at the RSI. We're still under 50 in the RSI, so that's not tremendous, but it's not terrible either, right? But that is somewhat synonymous with the price action here for the moving average, the 50, which is right around 40,000. So if we can get up over 40,000, we'll be easily up over 50 in the RSI, and of course have that momentum, so to speak, to continue higher. So the fact that we're under both moving averages isn't fantastic, but it's not terrible either, because once again, moving averages are kind of like a guide on which side of the tracks you're on. The fact that we've been having these significant ups and downs lately, and it just keeps on kind of getting smaller and smaller, tells us we have a strong amount of volume at this price point. In fact, if we look at the large picture, you can see somewhere around 36 to 38,000 is a big volume profile, and we're building on that. So that's why we're having this ascending channel coming up here, of course, and you've probably seen this a million times if you watch my videos. We have 35,000 here, 37,000, 38. Next target would be effectively a close above 39, which is really close to where we're at right now. We're at about 38.8. So again, we continue to have these little wins, so to speak, where the price comes down, but no further than this trend line. We're going to continue to be in really good shape. Okay. So again, we're just having a slow progression upwards. It's a very good sign. Then eventually, that should inevitably get us above 44,500 and or 46,000. And at that point, I'll feel very confident that we're on the right side of the tracks for Bitcoin. Because by then, of course, we'll probably be closer to the 200-day set moving average, and we'll be up over the 100 as well. There's a handful of little reasons why that's beneficial, but we had this significant shelf here where the price couldn't pass above. So again, 46 to 50,000, feeling very good about Bitcoin again at that point. We should expect to push to the upside once we see that. Between now and then, though, we'll just continue to celebrate the fact that we're staying above this trend line, and that's the most important thing here. All right, so all good stuff there. Not much has really changed on the MACD. Honestly, that's not really something we want to worry about or factor in at the moment, because even still, MACD hasn't been super beneficial in the larger time frames here recently, just based on the way that things are forming here. Okay, constantly getting rejected and not much to really extract from there. The 4 hour is a different story. You can get some information here on the 4 hour, and we can tell that we're getting closer to a MACD convergence, which is great. We have a potential breakout to the upside here with this sentiment alone. Because if you look at his history, excuse me, you can kind of see here that every time the price comes down and converges effectively, we have a pretty significant push back to the upside. Same thing happened previously multiple times, right? So if you look at that and you kind of look at the price action as well, we are due for a breakout to the upside soon. There's potential there based on that sentiment alone. So again, I don't ever use just the MACD on the 4 hour as the only indication to take an entry, but I can tell you that it's a good thing to help you know that bearish sentiment, that bearish momentum is waning, and we of course have a nice waxing bullish type of convergence. So in that sense, we are on the right track. I like to see that. Also note too, we're still under 50 on the RSI, but that 4 hour MACD convergence, if it were to converge, it could effectively push us back up above 50, which would be great. But for right now, we can see there's a resistance here, of course, in the RSI, kind of holding us down, but that's synonymous with the 50-day set moving average. So when you see that kind of uniformity, so to speak, between the moving averages and the RSI, and you can kind of tell that there's a potential area here that keeps getting tested and keeps getting rejected. However, you test something more frequently and consistently, like this over the last 24 to 48 hours, you'll likely be able to break through that. So it does feel like Bitcoin is kind of preparing itself to take off. And when I say take off, I wouldn't expect anything phenomenal, like at least this weekend. We might actually probably likely see that convergence on Monday, I would speculate, and then of course push higher. But all good things are coming here. Like, these are literally very positive confirmations, even though you would think that yes, being under 50 on the RSI isn't great. I would agree with you there. We have other complementing factors to help push that up. Okay. So again, I think that this is the calm before the storm, and we should expect another increase, at the very least to 40,000, possibly 41.5, and then what would be advantageous, of course, is to break this recent high here, to get a close somewhere around 42.5 or higher. Now, I wouldn't expect that on the one-day chart instantly. We might see something like that on Monday, perhaps, but this weekend we should probably just see some more sideways action, perhaps followed by a slight increase. I do think we'll hit our target here of 39,300. 39.3 is kind of our profit target for our trade that we have open right now. And I think that's going to just slowly continue to progress upwards based on what we see here so far. Again, building a good foundation of volume right at the support level of 38,800. That's key level right now at this point that's holding very strong. Okay, take a look here at Ichimoku Cloud. We can kind of see that there's no significant buy signal or sell signal. We're kind of right in the middle. And this is that type of shift in momentum I'm referring to. When you have a 4-hour convergence on the MACD that's potentially going to happen, the likelihood of that happening closer to when the price breaks above the cloud is more higher. In other words, we're likely to see some price action go sideways here, maybe up, down. But once we hit this, cloud breakthrough, so to speak, and we get the conversion line above the baseline, and that lagging span would inevitably be free and clear of any price action, we'll have a case in point where we'll likely be able to see the price continue higher from there based on the convergence on the MACD and being back up above the cloud, because this is working tentatively as a resistance, and it will probably continue to do so until the price naturally corrects itself back above. And it'll happen naturally over the weekend here, likely based on the simple fact that we're just slowly going sideways, and we should expect for the price to effectively break through the cloud. I would say sometime tomorrow, just in time for the Eastern Hemisphere to essentially wake up and to push the price action higher. So we should expect some kind of spike in price. I would speculate based on the way that things are forming here on the TA alone. Again, there's no fundamentals involved. If there are fundamentals, things that occur this weekend when futures are down, then we'll see that gap get filled eventually, right? But for right now, we should be able to anticipate the price continuing higher based on what we see here so far for the TA. So again, I like what I see. Everything looks great here from Bitcoin. There's nothing really terrible. It's not like you want to maybe just take a full-on long position right now. If you're going to, I would have tight profit targets, because we never truly do know where Bitcoin's going to go from here. But I can tell you that we're still honoring the ascending type of pattern that we have here, this trend line. And the fact that it comes down every single time and just doesn't go any further tells me that we're having this nice slow continuation higher, and the price is just getting where we need it to go, just albeit a lot slower than some of us would like. But that's okay. I honestly prefer to have slow, consistent channels like this, because this is where really good trading can come into place. Sometimes breakout trading is nice, but you can miss some opportunities if you're not poised and ready to go, because Bitcoin will break out at a moment's notice, right? But if you're channel trading, just say between 38,500 and 40,000, or just a larger range of 37,000 upwards of 46, you're going to be fairly successful, obviously depending on the shift in momentum. But this type of trading right here is not terrible. Like, catching these little wins is pretty straightforward, and you can always catch these little upsides. And that's just how this type of trading works, right? Because we're not in a descending pattern or an ascending pattern. We're pretty much in a sideways, momentous type of trend where the price is slowly progressing upwards, but also going sideways, and it keeps testing these key level supports. 38.8 comes on, it is almost like a magic number. It hits it every single time. And I think we can expect that 38.8 should be our continued support level for the moment, and that the price should expect to continue to progress higher. Once again, slow and steady this weekend, probably not a tremendous amount of volatility. Even though there is lower volume, we're probably not going to see large spikes. I would expect something tomorrow evening, Sunday night, essentially, if you're here in the States, because that's when it's Monday morning over in the Eastern Hemisphere of the world, and then the market starts moving again. But we should expect an increase based on all the TA that we see here so far. It's telling us we're going to expect that based on the fact that the moving average convergence divergence, the MACD on the 4 hours, giving us that indication. We're steadily testing 50 on the RSI pretty consistently here. And again, the more often you test that, the more likely it is to break. That, in combination with the fact that Ichimoku Cloud is telling us that we have no longer a sell signal, and that we're kind of in that fair to midland, that middle ground, we're pretty much at a transitionary state, we should expect an increase. Again, That's just what the TA is telling us here. So hopefully you can learn what I mean by that, or help kind of that helps educate you on the sense of how I come to my conclusions. Honestly, when it comes to trading, all you're doing is you're stacking the cards in one direction or the other. Okay, like, is this bullish? Is this bearish? Which way is it going to go? There's never 100% confirmation either direction. You can get some 90% in there, but for the most part, it's like, okay, 60% probability going this way and 40 going the other. So I'll put I'll put the odds on the winning side. And in this case, we probably have about a 60 to 65% probability it's going to go up than it would down. And that to me is more likely than not, considering the fact that we're holding this trend line. All right. Again, speaking in circles, apologize. Hope you learned something here today, of course. If you want to learn a lot more, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. And I do look forward to getting to know you better. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks again for your time.